Well, this is David speaking, and Jason and I really, as we travel the country and as we speak at different events and we're connecting with various other ministries, and then, of course, we're in the marketplace, so we're in business as well, we see that the culture is definitely shifting, and it's really important for Christians to engage. It's important that we speak the truth and speak it in love, and that's why we wrote Bold and Broken. By bold, of course, we all know what that means, but boldness, apart from brokenness, makes a bully. And we don't want to be bullies. We don't want to step in with bad attitudes or being frustrated or angry or trying to prove our point more than love a person. But then on the other side, brokenness apart from boldness makes a bystander. And by the word broken, we mean submitted to God in humility and compassion. So we don't want to be a bully. We don't want to be a bystander. But when we're both bold and broken, now we become a bridge that connects heaven to earth. And we actually become not just praying the prayer that Christ taught us to pray, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. We are now participating in that prayer, bringing heaven to earth in a real practical way. So we wrote 28 chapters, and it's all story-based about how did people in very simple, blue-collar, practical ways become bridges that connect heaven to earth.
Well, let's talk about the content here when we look at the issues about which we as Christians are confronted every day. I'm real curious. Of course, you guys grew up in a family where being active Christians, speaking out about the issues of the day, that was just something that I can imagine was just very, very natural in your growing up years. Now, Jason, did that continue into your adult years, or did the HGTV thing kind of take things to a different level for you guys?
Well, with our dad being the leader of a massive pro-life organization, it was something that was definitely birthed in our DNA. But at the same token, we have experienced firsthand what it feels like to be a bully on the one side, and we know what it feels like to be a bystander on the other. Because when the HGTV thing came to us, I remember there was like a tendency before we ever got fired, there was a tendency in us to maybe want to quiet down a little bit, because we were filming during the time when it was a real big debate, a hot topic about over marriage. And Supreme Court was going to rule in favor or against or whatever. And David and I had been vocal about that, but we actually felt that tendency and that temptation to actually be quiet because we didn't want to ruin our opportunity for the show. But we had to overcome that, and it took a rebuke from a godly pastor friend of ours that saw some cowardice in us. And that's what led us to our own brokenness, to realize, look, God has called us all to stand. Now, it may not look like the way David and I stood. You may be a second grade teacher, and you standing strong may look a little different. But ultimately, all of us are required to stand and not bend. And so when the questions are asked, like, can you be gay and Christian? Or is it okay to abort a baby 7 months in? Is it okay for people to just have sex with whomever they want, whenever they want, whatever? When those questions are asked, it's important for you to point people to the Scripture and represent the truth, regardless of whether or not that's going to offend that person. Because if you really love them, you'll talk about the boundaries that will bring their blessing.